It's a little like soap bubbles in a bathtub or in dishwashing detergent. The galaxies are on the surfaces of the bubbles.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Oh, oh. This world is not what you think it is. Am I the hand that moves on a fingerprint?
Do you want to see some more NASA fakery? Do you want to see my bubble collection? Here is one. And here is another one. And one just blossoms. Ha ha ha. I meant space bubbles, of course. Though, retard bubbles also are quite fascinating. Ha ha ha. Let's go.
So many times during spacewalks outside the International Space Station, we can see air bubbles rising up. Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Tiny bubbles and wine make me happy, make me feel fine. Tiny bubbles make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. So here's to the golden moon, and here's to the silver sea, and mostly here's a toast to you and me. Tiny bubble,
Tiny bubble
and the wine, make me happy,
make me happy,
make me feel fine,
make me feel fine.
Tiny bubble, make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time.
Tiny bubble
Ooh, I'll leave
in the wine,
Ikabaina,
make me happy,
oh, holy,
make me feel fine.
Ikaba out in the
Tiny bubble
make me warm all over, with a feeling that I'm gonna love you till the end of time. With a feeling that I'm gonna love you
till the
end of time.
Look down. Look down. That fragile bubble of light afloat on a sea of nothing.
Fingertips, word is at my fingertips. Reefer in my cuticles, police want my fingerprints. Count the fucks I give on my left hand if I was fingerless. Middle finger shit, tell the hookah girl to break some tips. Fingerprints identical to what genius is. Blame my temper, I don't say it unless I mean the shit. What's the difference between the critics and the hypocrites? Same difference between Republicans and Democrats. Facts.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. The hand that moves on the fingerprint. Oh, oh.
tanks in space? Snorkels and scuba tanks in space?
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Am I the hand that moves or the fingerprint?
And here's a bubble taking an odd trajectory because it's in a water pool. It even curves because the water is it's not motionless, it's moving.
Can you be more specific? Air bubbles?
So yeah, like a lot of times during the footage, the NASA footage, you can see bubbles coming up out of the helmets or kind of from underneath you. How do you explain bubbles in space?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about. You might, now sometimes you get water in the helmet, and it's either you know, from sweat or from the cooling garments. And you know, in some of my spacewalks, I had like water in the helmet, not like I was going to drown in the helmet, but just little bits of water probably came from sweat.
got left to do out here? Day looks clean. Day looks clean. Day looks clean.
We just saw something flying out of there.
Like a paper stuff.
Paper. It's a piece of paper?
Paper, yeah. I think maybe it's the Snapchat.
And now he's just letting himself float. Because actually it should be space float.
Yes.
他拍了一个画家，然后他就说直接说我要欧洲各个地方，就想给。
He's waving to us. He's waving to us.
Of the Flat Earth Society. 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 Flat Earth Society.
Because I never thought of myself, and I don't think most other people have who met me wouldn't say I'm like what you would consider to be a likely person to become an astronaut. You know, growing up, I grew up on Long Island. Never, you know, I was interested in astronauts, and I dreamed about being an astronaut as a very little boy because I can remember seeing Neil Armstrong walk on the moon when I was 6 years old. And but soon after that, it just became, it went into the realm of impossible, and I didn't really think about that until I got to be older. And you know, I'm afraid of heights. I don't like heights. Don't particularly like to go very fast. Didn't learn to swim very well when I was a kid. Had to learn how to do that, become a good swimmer to become an astronaut. Learn how to do that, become a good swimmer to become an astronaut. Learn how to do that, become a good swimmer to become an astronaut.
It's a little like soap bubbles in a bathtub.
protective plate over that location that will be flush to the over that location that will be flush to the surface.
It's the kind of MacGyver moment for which NASA is famous.
Houston, we have a problem.
But the last spacewalk ended with Italian astronaut Luca Parmitano nearly drowning in his helmet after it started filling with water.
Water's in his eyes now, and it seems to be increasing.
Fellow astronauts quickly pulled him back into the station. When they did, water poured from the helmet. But NASA engineers have a few on-the-fly fixes in case the water returns.
This is our first line of defense.
An absorbent pad worn behind the head to collect any extra water.
One of the solutions that NASA came up with was really clever. The idea of, well, we need to put something that absorbs water on the back of your head. Hey, let's use a diaper. I thought that's a clever solution to this problem.
Yeah, pretty neat. They also came up with the snorkel idea too,
Yeah.
you know.
Unexpected turn. The astronauts doing the spacewalks will now be wearing snorkels after the last astronaut who performed a spacewalk nearly drowned when his helmet filled with water.
Just my gut inside me said, that's my dive buddy and I should be with my dive buddy. That's my dive buddy and I should be with my dive buddy.
Snorkel cut from rubber tubing.
This snorkel is now installed inside the suit.
Each of these spacewalks is scheduled for 6.5 hours.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Oh, oh, this world is not what you think it is. Am I the hand that moves on a fingerprint?
Fingertips, word is at my fingertips. Reaper in my cuticles, police want my fingerprints. Count the fucks I give on my left hand if I was fingerless. Middle finger shit, tell the hookah girl to break some tips. Fingerprints identical to what genius is. Blame my temper, I don't say it unless I mean the shit. What's the difference between the critics and the hypocrites? Same difference between Republicans and Democrats. Facts.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. Am I the hand that moves on the fingerprint? Oh, oh.
Why the cost of living so overpriced? Keep my lawyers on retainer like an overbite. When you the stoner type, a lot of weed be overhyped. Half a pound or more, a quarter won't suffice. You see what my composure's like? Been on the road for 40 nights, never make a hoe your wife, but these days hoe is life. Always got something in the air like poltergeist. There's your one, an activity, paranormal. I feel it in every corner, aroma of marijuana. By now this shit should be legal on every corner. That'll happen once they get profits off every grow of madness. I see Babylon and it's crashing. I'm asking why this was crafted. Who is the admin? The masses feel like we're captive in this contraption. I'm spazzing, I'm capping, stabbing. Salute the savage. Back.
In his hands, he's got the whole world in his hands.
Mercedes Benz. Oh, oh, this world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is. This world is not
Can you touch on how there are air bubbles in space?
Sometimes, you'll see just little flecks of paint or something that you might have disrupted floating away from the suit.
Could it be that you're filming in an underwater pool and you're not really out there?
I'm standing on the International Space Station!
I'm standing on the International Space Station!
I descend into the clearest water I've ever seen, and it looks like an underwater movie set. Like an underwater movie set. And it looks like an underwater movie set.
Change the way I feel, the way I feel. I'm standing still, and nothing else matters now. You're not here, so where are you? I've been calling you, I'm missing you.
They're standing still. I'm running still. I'm running still. And every voice that cried inside my head, forever dry, forever dry. I've drew the lines. Oh, where else can I go? And where else can I go? Chasing you, chasing you, oh. Running, 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 ain't running from myself no more. Together we'll win it all.
I ain't running, 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 ain't running from myself no more. I'm ready to face it all.
If I lose myself, I lose 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 it all.
Snorkels are just in case.
Oh, oh, this world is not what